Good morning. So here we are on a beautiful, rainy Sunday morning here in Texas for me. I'm sure that the weather around the country is doing its thing. Not all of us are in Hawaii. Um, Today's topic is all on the universe love speed. So I'm going to ask that as you come in, make sure that you say hi and pop on. Feel free to ask questions. Feel free to, if this Facebook Live touches you at all or you get something out of it, please make sure that you share it too. So the universe loves speed, and this was the topic of yesterday that came up a couple times. So it is the topic of this morning because it's been writing on my heart all night long. So and there you have it. And the question was, if the universe loves speed, then why don't things happen, quickly as we want them to? And is it possible that sometimes we're just, will the universe, how do you get into alignment so that you can actually have things happen really fast? And then the other part of it was, what are other people's role? Because we're not just sitting out here all by ourselves, right? So we have these goals, these dreams, these desires, like relationships. And relationships mean that there's other people involved in our goals and dreams. So, don't they, what kind of role do they have in this whole scheme of creation here? Ultimately, what it comes down to is getting your creation ball, which is, think of it like a snowball. It starts out really, really small, and sometimes it starts out really, really dirty, right? And that's all those negative thoughts. And you're really working at dealing with the negative thoughts. And those negative thoughts are the doubt, are the fear, anger, blame, shame, guilt. So once we start working through that and we really look into self-love and abundance and happiness and joy, really up that, that emotional scale, now we're starting to build that snowball, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger into the positive. And everybody's initial, that the darkness, that the dark ball of energy that we have, everybody's is a different size. So mine's a completely different size than anybody who watches this, and it is my shit, right? And then you have your shit, and you've got to work through your shit, and I've got to work through my shit. And it really is how we work through that, and at the speed that we work through it, which means the ability to face our fears. So there is this, this is true across the board with anything, that bliss is right on the other side, quite literally right on the other side of the thing that you fear the most. And remember, I'm talking about fear, not danger here, okay? We talked about this the other day, where it's not like you're not standing in front of a train. That's danger. You're not, out hungry wolves. No, that's danger. Talking about fear. Fear is an emotion that goes off inside of us that sometimes makes us believe that it is there for our protection, when it's trying to save us. It is the ego at work, and sometimes it's a healthy thing to have, right? Like, I am fearful of. But 98% of the time, the things that we fear, they never come about. It is a lost emotion. It is an energy drain. It is, it is, if anything, it is sending out a snowball of negativity. So that worry, that fear is actually a creation of what we don't want to have happen. Because remember, the universe is going to give us exactly what we think and feel about the most. So it's God, the universe is not sitting up there going, oh, well, you said that you really don't want that to happen. All is being heard is, I don't want robbers to come in. I'm scared of robbers. I'm scared of this. I'm picking on robbers because he's sitting here by the front door. So, like, I'm scared of this and I'm scared of that. I don't want to get into a car accident, right? So it's just like, I really don't want to get into a car accident. So if you're really concerned about getting into a car accident, guess what you're sending out? Car accident, car accident, car accident. Or let's say you're sending out, you're just like, oh, this is a shitty day, such a shitty day, nothing else can happen. You know, this is just so shitty. And all of a sudden you get rear-ended. Or all of a sudden you get a ticket. Or, you know, all these different things. Well, that is, why does that happen? That's because what you are feeling, maybe you're feeling overwhelmed, maybe you're feeling anxiety, worry, concern, stress, fear. It's all the stuff that you really don't want to have happen. And then what do you have? More of the same thing. So you're like, oh, this is just a really crappy day. And that's because of what's going on in here and here. Same is true for if you consciously focus over to what you do want. So, you know, if you want more love in your life, focus on the love that you have. Focus on the beauty around you. You know, lift your gaze up from the ground, look out, and start to look off into a distance. Look at the trees. Pay attention to how the wind is blowing through the trees. Pay attention to the birds blowing in. Birds blowing. I haven't had enough coffee. The birds flying in the sky. You know, the beautiful flowers, the music in the background, lights at this time of the year. Something that makes you just go, oh, that's pretty, or oh, that's peaceful. Bring yourself into more of those states. Okay? So if you want the universe, if you want to feel the impact of the speed of the universe, you have to be in alignment with the speed of the universe. And that simply means those things that I was just talking about. Flip your gears from focusing in on worry and negativity and doubt and fear to love and appreciation, joy, peace, gratitude, that kind of stuff. And it really is, it's a flip. So anything that you're thinking, really look at it as though, am I thinking about not having it? Or am I thinking about its presence already being here? Presence meaning the energy of these things are, we carry them in us and they're always around us. We just tend to ignore them because we're so focused over here on the negative, okay? So you got to stop. Then other people do play a role with our snowball. But here's the thing. That snowball, as you get that positive snowball really, really rolling, and bigger and bigger and bigger, here's what happens. Inside that, that expectation, when I was talking about, having that expectation like a child on Christmas morning, except you just don't know when Christmas morning is. But, you don't know when Christmas morning is. You don't know exactly what the present is, but you have this feeling as to right? So there's all this excitement. You just know that, oh my gosh, there's presents underneath the tree, and you're just ready to run. So that childlike expectancy, enthusiasm, is the snowball. And the more you can really fall into that snowball of enthusiasm and excitement is where the speed comes in. So the more you get really, really pumped up and excited about it, and here's the thing, you're going to go, yeah, because you're dealing with the negative stuff. So that's what's going to slow. That's the only thing slowing your snowball down is the negative stuff. The closer you get to your goals, your desires, your dreams, the more expectancy you're going to start to feel. You're going to have just this like, wow, like I can feel it, because there's this energy charge that's shifting inside of you, and the closer you get, the more high energy you're going to have. So that high energy is telling you you're close, you're close, you're close. The little gotcha in this is that doubt is going to creep up and kick your ass, or at least try to, right at that moment too. So think of skydiving, okay? This is the best example. I love Will Smith for this example. Will Smith for other things too, but it's awesome life. But that whole idea of, he tells this story about going skydiving, and I'll see if I can find it and post it with this video here later today. Standing right there, and the instructor says, all right, we're going to jump on the count of 3, and then you go 1, 2, and then they push you, right? And up until that point, you had total fear. You're like, what the hell are we doing? And there's no way. That's crazy. Jumping out of a perfectly good airplane, all this good stuff. So all of this is like fear. But as soon as you get pushed, it's like you go, and And then you're just falling. And it is the most blissful thing that you can imagine. It's just this incredibleness, this freedom, this expansion. Everything is total bliss. So every single thing that, and if you really think about it, those things that you really, really wanted, those things that you know, didn't you get to that point where it was like, I don't think it's going to work. I don't think I can do this. I mean, whether it was walking down the aisle, you know, when you were getting married, when you just had a child, when you applied for the job that you really wanted, and you had gone through the whole interview process, you really wanted to complete, you know, college. There's something, these goals that we have, no matter how small or big they are, and the experiences that come with them. The first time you travel outside the country, okay? Travel outside the country and you're just like, oh my gosh, you're terrified of going through TSA. You're terrified, you know, of, oh my gosh, this, what about the plane flight? I'm landing, foreign country, how's it going to work? All this other stuff. And 99% of the time, what happens? You have this awesome experience on the other side, right? You're going and you're traveling and you're enjoying yourself and you're seeing this beauty and it's just, oh my gosh, I can't wait to come back. I can't wait for the next trip. That is the experience of that energy. And with its excitement, enthusiasm, positive energy, as long as you basically shun the negative, the doubt, turn your back from it, because if you turn into the doubt, then you're going to slow down the speed, okay? And then when you have other people involved in your goals and your dreams, there's a couple of things going on there. Number one, if you're wrapping people up into your goals and your dreams that really don't give a shit about what they are, or they're operating on the opposite spectrum, so basically they want something opposite, you're going to have a pulling apart. Okay? You're going to have a pulling apart. Or you might just have something like this, you know, where they're just doing their thing and you're doing your thing. But a lot of the times, when if one person is refusing to move forward, and that's just they don't want to, they're uncomfortable doing it, or whatever, then they're going to remain there and you're going to go ahead and continue on as long as you stay focused. If you let them pull you back, then you're letting them pull you back. That's it. And if you have like-minded, same, you know, connection energetically, or similar connection with a goal in mind, and this is, you know, even in the Bible, it's like where two minds come together and become one. You have this mind, this one mind that comes together, and it gets stronger. It gets stronger. Even if you're not operating exactly the same, because none of us are going to operate. You know, we all have our little nuances there that we just want something a certain way. But if you have a common goal, then that common goal, both parties are now coming together, and that energy is intensifying and increasing and intensifying and increasing. And yes, one person can kind of slow the roll down a little bit when they're dealing with doubt, worry, concern, and all that kind of stuff. But it is, if the other person can maintain that energy and keep that ball really, really strong now, if they both fall at the same time, now we're into like a slower rolling thing. But really is, once you get that snowball big enough and energetically strong enough, and it's just this force that is unstoppable, and you get it up there and then it starts to just roll down, there is no stopping where it's going. There is no stopping the impact of what it is going to bring. It is just a matter of getting that energy big enough and strong enough. And that means that the doubt is not able to creep in as easily, that the fear is not able to creep in, that you're seeing it for what it is, that they're there as little roadblocks. And you have a choice to let the roadblock get you, or just roll over that puppy. So, I don't know if that answered the question that came in yesterday or not, but it really is, you know, if that, the alignment is in your heart and in your mind. The mind doesn't always know what to do, but the heart does. So follow your heart, okay? And your goals, your dreams, your wealth, your abundance, the things that you want are right there in the land of the thing that you fear the most. It is that and that is where you have to push into. You have to push yourself into that. And again, fear, not danger. Fear, not danger. Because doing the things that we fear the most are typically those hurdles, those little bits of self-growth that we really do need to push into and get more comfortable with. Because this whole process is about making the unfamiliar familiar and the familiar unfamiliar. And that process of making the familiar unfamiliar, which means that you're completely shifting your energy in that moment, means also that you will be shifting your life. But you've got to be willing to allow for the changes that will occur from those shifts. What about divine timing for our lives? Meaning, if we are supposed to wait for a certain amount of time in order for things to fall into place at the time that you're supposed to come together. Okay, so do we push the ball up the hill, or do we allow things to just kind of occur as it needs to be? So this is the answer to that would be, you got to follow your heart, not your mind. If you're sitting there and you're trying to overanalyze, overthink something and questioning everything, then you're putting in stall blocks right there. And if your heart is going, no, we need to act now, then your heart is the thing to follow, not your mind on it. And divine timing, yes, there's divine timing. And the only thing that's going to tell you when that divine timing is there is your heart. Your heart is the connector to the divine timing. But if you're second guessing your heart all the time, then you're going to miss the divine timing. So it is really about following your heart on that 100%. And that's where the scary ground comes in. And I have this whole thing like intensive month. There's changes happening in February in lots of different areas of life. Again, there's just something going on with April. I don't know dates. I don't know exact things. I just know that there's a certain something about this time of the year, those two spots so far. And I would say probably also there's something October is attracting me. Now, here's what I know. I know that, and I'm going to say attract. So it's like my being keeps coming back to these months. So what am I doing? I'm opening up and I'm going, all right, there's possibilities in these months, like more possibilities of stuff going on. It could appear good, it could appear bad. It's how I'm going to perceive it and what I'm going to do with it. I make the choice throughout. Recently, I went through a time where I knew that something had to happen before December 1st. And I didn't know when. It wasn't like it has to happen today. I just felt this urgency. And here's the thing that I'm trying to get through to you, is that there is a feeling, and there's this feeling, I had this feeling of urgency. So my mind was trying to prevent me from taking action. My ego is like, oh my gosh, no, somebody's going to get hurt. You shouldn't do this, blah, 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 blah. Worry, fear, doubt, beating myself up. But I had this sense of urgency. And the closer I got to actually taking action, the more urgency I felt inside myself, to the point that at 12:22 a.m. I sat there and I had to deal with this. And I knew right then, like, I have to do it now. I felt the whole pressure of this, and it was this little thing, but I had to do it. And it was just that I had to do it right then. There's your divine timing. It was the feeling of, number one, being open to, I know that this has to happen. Like, it just kept coming up. So I kept noticing, this keeps coming up for me. This keeps, it was the same thing, keeping coming up. And I was just like, oh, and I had to process through for like 3 weeks to get to this moment of urgency, this moment of just total fear. But at the same time, there was this certainty occurring underneath it, saying, you know that you have to do it, and you have to do it now. Push the button. Push the button. Just go. And that is what I did. And when I did that, events that followed happened just beautifully. Boom, 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 boom. And it's just like watching this happen, this progression of perfection that I had no real clue and at the same time did. So it's like this weird feeling. But here we go again. What am I talking about? I'm talking about following the heart. I'm talking about that sense of, and guess what? I was scared shitless to do this act. It was total fear inside me. Goofy as heck. It was writing a letter. I'm just writing this letter. It scared the shit. But I knew that I had to do it. I knew that I had to do it. And part of me didn't want to do it. But I still did it anyway. And so I had to do it in this moment. But it was the urgency. It was that energetic ball that was like, right? It was just on me. And that energetic ball, the pressure became so much, but the urgency was so strong that I went, now's the time. There's your divine timing. That's the divine timing. Being tuned into your heart, being tuned into reading what that is. And when that urgency comes up, don't go and run the other way. Don't back down. Go, this is it. This is the moment. This is the moment that I've been waiting for. And then let go. Then let go. So it's like, do the action, let go. Because the universe really does have your back, like Gabby Bernstein talks about. The universe really, really does have your back. And it is that right there that you have to really read into your heart if you want to make sure that you're staying in alignment to what your desires are. But that means that you have to follow your heart. And your mind is going to try to stop you. Your mind will try to stop you. The logical mind will always throw in lots of different opportunities to prevent yourself from following your heart. You're going to feel crazy. You're going to feel lost. You're going to question. You're going to do all these different things. But your heart will always lead you right. You know, there's many, many things to pursue in this world. Many things to pursue in this world. But the thing that you really need to focus in on pursuing are the things that capture your heart. Follow those things always. That's what you need to follow. So I hope that, I don't know if that, I saw some hearts popping and thumbs and everything. So hopefully that got that through. But also with that, back to the topic, like the universe loves speed. Well, the universe does love speed because how it gets the speed is by you following your heart. So the more you can do that, the speedier the process is going to be, and the easier the process will be, and more miracles will come about. And it really is. It's just when you are in alignment with your heart is connected to God, and it's going to look at it as though it is your GPS system, and you just gotta not question the GPS. Okay, because when you question the GPS, you end up on a back road out in the middle of farmland, and you're lost out there, and all of a sudden the roads don't have any names, and now you feel like you're on your own. So that's why emotions are so popular, and that put so much the focus here the last 2 weeks, 17 days, wow, 17 days. It is the emotional focus that has to come into play. And if you are not, if you say that you want something, and then you think about it, and it brings that negative energy around you and into your body. So, frustration, fear, overwhelm, anger, depression, just feeling of like, I just don't have it, this all this different stuff. If you're not in joy, happiness, if it's not putting a smile on your face and just bringing you into your heart center and it's like you're beaming, it doesn't mean that it's not there for you to take. It's not there for you to want. It just means that you're not in alignment to it in that fashion right there. So you have to back your goals off a little bit. Find something smaller, and that can be a stepping stone toward it that excites you. And so sometimes our goals are too big. I always use the castle on the spot, right? And maybe you just need to first of all work on moving out of the house that you're in and getting upscaling your finish the roof on your house or work on the foundation of your house. There's lots of different things to look at. Are you trying to avoid doing things in your life that need to be done and need to be healed and worked on by trying to make something that is too strong of a vibration for you because you're not vibrating there yet? And you're just going after that. So if you make $50,000 a year, why are you looking at $7.5 million houses? It's not going to happen. Okay, it's not going to happen. So you have to look at. I could say, well, that's really, really negative. Maybe I'm going to go out and I'm going to make $10 million next year. Well, that's awesome. Do you believe that you can make $10 million next year? Notice the feeling inside your body. Instantaneously, probably doubt comes up. Instantaneously, you're probably going, oh, like something in the gut, something like, or maybe you're pissed off that I even said it, or something like that. Notice those feelings, because that right there is telling you if you're in alignment to the goal. It's letting you know exactly where you're at. And if you need to back it down, change it mildly, do something, else, all those kinds of things. So it really is paying attention to the heart and the physical sensations in your body, because that's what is going to guide your way. So, let me see. I guess that really comes down to, I was on, I looked up a couple of quotes trying to, like, universe loves. I wanted to know whose quote that was, the universe loves speed, and I found out that it was Joe Vitale quoting there. So I'm like, okay, so what other quotes does Joe Vitale have? And as I was skimming through, waiting on 6 o'clock to happen, one of his quotes is, you always get what you unconsciously believe and expect. And that one, as I wrote it down, I was like, okay, so if I say that out loud, and then someone's going to say, well, how are we supposed to become conscious of what we don't even know that we're thinking, right? And what that is again, coming back to the feelings that you're having. So you're not going to be conscious of those unconscious thoughts. So you have to realize that you cannot be in complete control or consciousness about what's going on thinking-wise all the time. Focus in on the ones that you can control, on the ones that you can be conscious of. But your body, your emotions will always tell you, and that's why I come back to the emotions, to like what goes off in you when you're talking about your goals, your dreams. Because if you're having a negative feeling in your bodies and some sort of discomfort, discord in your body, then that means that your unconscious thoughts are leaning more towards the not having than the presence of it being in your life. Okay? So really pay attention to that. That's how you know where your unconscious thoughts are lying. You know what side of the fence they are. And then realize that if every time you bring up a certain goal, you get nervous, anxious, fearful, upset, depressed, then you've got a large ball of negative over here, and that's what you need to actually go and do the work on, because that ball, that the universe loving speed is not going to be able to give you what you are claiming you want, all this good stuff over here, as long as your unconscious thoughts are leaning towards all this negativity. So you have to start to focus in on the feel good things. Again, it comes back to doing the things that make you feel good, and not worrying necessarily about all this unconscious stuff. You can't. The way to it is through the emotions, not trying to actually go in there and go, I'm going to force myself to think 2,000 positive thoughts today. Now, what you're going to do is go and not force yourself to do anything. You're going to go and breathe into life, relax into life, lean into life, and love life. The more you love life, the more life will love you. Plain and simple. So, let me see what else he has. Universal speed, and then his other one that I've already kind of touched on is your mind may not know what to do today, but your heart does follow your heart. And that is That is so, so true. So there's the gist of this 30-minute live for you is follow your heart. If you want the speed of the universe, stop pointing fingers outward. Take responsibility for your life, which means take responsibility for your emotions. Nobody on this planet is going to make you feel anyway. You have a choice in your feelings. It is your decision to feel negatively, to feel positively, to see the light at the end of the tunnel, to turn, a pot of coal into a pot of diamonds. That is your choice to do. And it really means that even in the worst possible situation, that you can find the pot of gold there. There is always light there. There is always love there. There is always a blessing there. There is a reason for every single thing to happen, and to really focus in on what the result can potentially be and how you're growing, expanding from every single experience. So find the joy, find the positive, even if it's just a drop of something in there. And even when you really, really feel like you can't find something positive, know that maybe in that moment you can't. Maybe in that moment you just need to breathe in the emotion of what is going on so that you know what you don't want anymore. Because it might be coming to you just to teach you that right there. This is what you don't want. Because if we don't know what we don't want, then how are we ever going to know truly what we want? So every life experience is moving us toward what our goals, our dreams are at that core level. And the belief is what you have to lean on. The desire, the belief, and really focusing in on your emotions. So I hope that's helpful. And I am going to take my happy little ass off on a walk here at the moment. So hope that you guys are keeping up on your commitments that you made early on. I think that was day one. If anybody's got that stuff going. If you have any questions or anything that you would like for me to bring up over the next couple of days on the Conscious Coffees, feel free to pop it to me either on here, or if you got my cell phone number, text me. If you want to email me, Facebook me, however, send me that stuff. I love your input. Make sure to share this if I touched you at all, if any of it made any sense to you, or just had a little aha moment. Please share it and keep on me. I will see you tomorrow at 6 a.m. and you can find more stuff on my website at www.kendal.com.